What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that all of you are having a wonderful weekend. This is the Love and Marriage Huntsville recap piece before the Stormi. So the episode begins with Kimmi and Maurice. They're meeting Maurice's brother, Micah, and he is supposedly helping them construct an office, but Kimmi is fussing at him for missing deadlines and just essentially making everything a lot harder. And I feel like that is the running theme with the Scott. I was gonna say the brothers, but truthfully with all of them, because to be honest, I saw a different side of Kiki and Tisha in this episode that a lot of people online they're losing a lot of respect for them. Kimmi clapped back in regards to what she said to Mel, but I'll get to that in a little bit later. So Kimmi, essentially tells Maurice that she is just, voicing her displeasure. She's disappointed. She's basically calling him lazy, which is true. Maurice, that is another, pattern that we've seen. He didn't want to take care of, his son, Maurice Jr., and he left all the housework, onto Kimmi. Now with this office building, she's asking him, to step up and handle those affairs, to do, the handiwork and things that need to be done at the house that he promised her essentially before they got married. And so he's like, well, I'm a lawyer. And it's not funny. I'm only laughing because it's such a pathetic excuse. Like, what do you mean? If you then you should pay somebody to do it. Like, you should pay. If you got money like that, because Maurice, I don't know if you guys have seen him go after Black Titanic, but he's threatening to sue her, who's an older content creator. But I'm like, Maurice is always, doing the most with the least. Like, he basically just told Kimmi that he doesn't feel like doing anything. And I'm wondering, like, does he practice what kind of law does he practice? Is it criminal? Is it civil? Because I thought he was running like this credit repair shop. And that's exactly what Black Titanic was, you know, alleging, right? That she's trying to figure out what he does. What kind of law do you practice? Are you an entertainment law? Because we never see him inside of a office, a courtroom, or anything like that. And Kimmy's trying to, persuade him. I mean, she doesn't give Jalen, her son, this many lectures. I feel like every single episode this season that they've been in is either Kimmi complaining about the lack of libido, or her lecturing Maurice on him just being disrespectful and essentially lazy. Like, he doesn't want to do chores. He doesn't want to take care of his son. He doesn't want to. He just doesn't. Like, what do you do? And if you're a lawyer, and if you're a good one, like he told Black Titanic, then pay somebody to, do the things that need to be done around the house. She's talking about, basic stuff like hanging pictures. Like, what do you do besides make this woman miserable who's trying to recover from cancer? All that stress, that's not helpful. And that's probably leading to her libido being so decreased, right? People who are lazy and who are, they don't do anything, especially, your husband, someone who says essentially, I'm supposed to lead my household. He does a lot of talking. That's not a turn on. That's a turn off, essentially. That's what, in my opinion. Kimmy's worried about her libido, but she's with a man who's lazy and trifling. That'll do it every time. All right, moving on from them, because folks was, coming after Carlos King. Not coming after, but just basically letting him know that we're tired of the Scotts. He was like, whoa, 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 during his recap last night. And to be honest, I agree. Like, Stormi, the next scene, she's talking with Tisha about, Tisha's team essentially copying from her website. And, Tisha's basically deflecting, not taking any kind of ownership, not taking any kind of accountability. Again, just not. like Scott and Not. Like they just rhyme. These people are essentially, they act like children. They're really immature. They don't have any kind of emotional intelligence, any kind of business savvy or sense. They don't take ownership for anything. When you're a business owner, and I don't know if, Tisha is just the figurehead, like a lot of people have said, in order to get these government contracts, but you take ownership. Yes, it's your team, but your team works for you. They represent you. So Stormi's like, am I going to get an apology? And Tisha's like, what? What? And after about 10 minutes, Stormi said of driving her there, Tisha eventually did apologize. But the fact that she would even have to ask for an apology or, any kind of accountability from Tisha, again, I have to agree with the people who are letting Carlos know, like, the Scots, they just don't seem to have the emotional intelligence enough to be really good reality stars. And that's what a lot of people were saying to Carlos last night during his recap. Now, I do have to say, one of the fan favorites and one of my favorite cast members on the show is Chris Fletcher. I feel like, he's talking to his son, Chris Fletcher Jr., and his son was opening up to him about, not being able to sleep well, just going for long drives, 2 or 3 in the morning. And I could see how this would be a huge concern, not only from a mental health standpoint, but also from a safety issue. And I feel like that was, I think Nell, because, Chris Sr., he tells his son that he was really trying to not cry. You could tell. He said that he feels like, it's possibly depression and he wants him to get counseling, which is really good, right? And when he was conveying this message to his wife, initially she was like, well, Chris, when he has money in his pocket, little Chris, he's an a-hole and this, that, and the other. But when his father was really, letting Nell know that he's really concerned about him, he thinks it's a lot more serious than him just being, a typical, young man or whatever, that he thinks that it might be something clinical. Then she realized that it was, serious, and her demeanor changed, which is good. I really do hope that he does get the help and the counseling that he needs. But Nell and Chris Sr., they do have a right to be concerned because they do live in Huntsville, Alabama. And a lot of my family members, and I lived in Alabama as a girl, or the border, southern Tennessee. It is not safe for young Black men to be driving in the early morning hours, especially, since he's already been in trouble in the past. He already has a record. I would be really concerned and scared too. And I feel like that was what Nell essentially was, speaking out of fear. So Melody meets up with Kimmi and Tisha, and they're getting a pedicure. And Kimmi, she's basically in her feelings about why Melody didn't invite her to the name change ceremony. And so Mel's like, well, basically I don't want to have to invite you because I didn't want to have to invite your husband. And because they're really close with Martell. So Kimmi, in her feelings, she goes and she tells Melody that she thinks that it's perpetuating a negative stereotype for Black women to have a name that's different than their children. But the gag is all of Melody's kids were born within wedlock, and Kimmy's was not. She should have sat there and ate her food or let her toes be massaged, because Melody, she gathered her, but Melody, she basically wanted to cut ties with her ex-husband, and that's completely understandable. But again, I think Kimmi and Tisha value their marriage over their own self-worth. And you can tell because neither Maurice nor Marsau respect these women at all. And when I say these women, Marsau has a level of respect for Melody that does not come anywhere close to how he treats Tisha. And it's evident. And that's why Tisha's jealous of Mel. And so lastly, we have them, the Scotts going on a double date with Courtney and Stormi still. And I still don't know Courtney's last name. I know it's different from Steele, from his wife. And that's relevant because, they were taking shots at each other and they were saying the B word and all other necessary foolishness. And so Tisha and Marsau come an hour and a half late. And then they just start going back and forth with each other. Like that, they're a good one, because half an hour, 45 minutes, I would have been gone. But that's me. But eventually Stormi does leave because Tisha and Marsau are they're disrespectful. Like, I don't know if it's because they're jealous of the fact that Stormi's brand is financially successful, or the fact that Courtney really does love and respect his wife. But I have to agree with a lot of the people that were in Carlos King's comments. We can do without the Scotts, and I mean that all of them, because I lost a lot of respect for Kimmi when she came from Melody, and Tisha. I thought she was more naive, but I'm seeing like this sinister side to her. It's not a good look. But anyway, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And I will talk with you in the next video. Take care, aces. Bye.